You've got to find a story or an angle or something for the media to cover. And if you don't, then I just lose credibility with them, because I'm like spamming them on stuff. We don't want that to happen. We want to actually build relationships.
Right. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Paper Jacket Podcast. Today, I am talking with Robbie from Blue Bridge PR. If you are a business that has looked into marketing, you've probably heard about PR as well. And maybe you think of PR as just something for high-end businesses, really, those guys who are on TV all the time and so on and so forth, or maybe just a writer trying to help promote their book or something like that. PR is everywhere. If you are looking for more opportunities and want to have a brand message that stays consistent, PR is where you want to go, and Robbie's going to talk to us about that today. What's going on, Robbie? Thanks for joining our podcast today, man.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here.
All right, Robbie, I want you to share with our audience what you do. What brought you here today?
Yeah, so I started a public relations company about 10 years ago. Actually, I think we're going on year 11 now.
Congratulations.
So we're focused on media relations for the most part and getting clients and businesses, nonprofits, organizations of different types into the media. Just kind of I say the traditional media, but it's not so traditional anymore.
Sure.
Trying to get them out there and get that earned credibility and position them as the experts and stuff that they are.
Now, one of the questions I've gotten a lot being in marketing for so many years is, what is the difference between marketing and PR?
That's a great question. So, a lot of people try to put them against each other, and they actually go well together, hand in hand, very well together. And so public relations is, with what I do, it brings the credibility, the earned credibility that the media can bring. So third party verified type stuff that, you can't pay for unless you pay for somebody like me to help you get there. Yeah. But it's not like ad driven. It's more editorial in nature. It's more, that's just one component. I mean, there's all kinds of other stuff. I mean, there's crisis work. There's, all kinds of different facets.
That's what people think of it as crisis work. Like, oh no, I'm about to get canceled because of something. Right. And I got to get PR on it. But what is that's more of the defensive side of PR. So what truly is the offensive side, would you say?
The offensive side, PR is a long game. Yeah. Right? It's bringing that credibility from the very beginning. And a lot of businesses, you don't necessarily have to hire somebody like me to do it. I mean, you're going to go much farther and it's going to go faster. Yeah. But just keeping your credibility and just your perspective in focus from the very beginning, right? Yeah. And so it's a long game. It's everything is PR, really. Yeah. I mean, everything from not just being on an interview with a news company or the Wall Street Journal or something like that. That certainly is, but it's also team members, right? Your employees, those types of people that how they interact with customers and clients, everything. I mean, one mess up could cost you a lot of money.
Because you ultimately, as you grow a team, right? You're training them ultimately on how to do the work.
Exactly.
A true entrepreneur, is building a system to say, this is the workflow, the tool I built, I need you to follow it, just like I would. Right. You're a representation of me or the brand I've created. And so you're like, hey, that also needs to translate into voice. How are you talking to them to make them feel like, because if I'm, marketing the company and I'm kind of the face of the company, if you would, I'm not doing the actual work. I'm not, if I'm the face of Starbucks, I'm not giving you the coffee. Somebody else is. But you want to make it feel like I am the one giving you the coffee in that sense. So
exactly.
What's the guy's name? 𝗪𝗪?
Yeah.
𝗪𝗪. I got it. Right. We were just talking before the podcast about how we forget things all the time.
Yeah, I know. It happens.
So, that's a really, impactful thing to have, especially if you're growing a team and you have 3 or 4 different personalities. There's nothing wrong with different personalities, But it's confusing to the clients.
It is.
You know?
It is. It is. And so as a leader, coaching your team on messaging, and just, it all really comes from your culture, your values, and all of that. As long as that's consistent, and maybe some crisis planning, then something bad probably, the chances of it are less.
Yeah.
On the flip side, though, an owner or a CEO or somebody like that, they're not serving coffee to people, but they can be the face of that organization, and they're maybe the ones to do an interview that you want out front, or if not them, then somebody else,
right?
That makes sense to be that, to position them as that expert and that face, and and it brings that credibility.
And you're kind of like a wingman in that situation. You're the one looking for opportunities, an interview situation,
correct,
exposure, things like that.
Correct.
And so you're getting them the opportunity, but also coaching them through. Okay, remember our messaging to be consistent and stuff like that.
Correct. So it's like an intermediary in a lot of ways, between them and the audience, the media, whatever. Could be a podcast, could be a news outlet, it could be anything really. Could be. It could be a talk, getting talks for people and speeches and that kind of thing. So, it's really a go-between, like a linchpin intermediary type role. And we've got to, the creative side comes to it on both sides, not only on the client side, but also on the media side too, because you've got to find a story or an angle or something for the media to cover. And if you don't, then I just lose credibility with them, because I'm like spamming them on stuff. We don't want that to happen. We want to actually build relationships,
right,
on both sides.
So you said, it goes very hand in hand with marketing. So talk to me about how you're usually working with their marketing department or the marketing agency as their PR firm.
So there's an acronym that I believe it was a PR company in an agency in Chicago that kind of coined this. And it's called PESO, PESO, and so that term, that acronym stands for, the P is paid media, right? So advertising, that could be anything, right? That could be any type of ad or whatever that may be. Earned media, the E, is more kind of what I focus on. I mean, PR kind of does a little bit of all of it, but I would say that the primary focus of media relations is that earned media component, to where an editor or a reporter, they're going to interview a client, and you didn't really necessarily pay for that. And so then the S is shared media, so social media falls into that as well. But that also branches with, obviously in marketing, that's huge. Social media is huge, but also in PR with certain messages and things, especially with higher profile people and that kind of thing. You want to have consistent messaging. And then the last part is owned media, which is like, it could be a blog post or anything that you kind of own. And so that really, there's facets of those that PR does, and that also marketing does as well, and does really well. And so having both kind of thought leaders of both in that conversation is really helpful, because PR people aren't going to necessarily see necessarily the inbound lead generation stuff that marketing does. A lot of PR does that now, but on the flip side, marketing may not see it from the perspective of an earned media focus as well. So they go hand in hand in various ways.
Right. So what got you into this?
That's a funny question. So I used to. A long time ago, I used to work, after college, I worked for my parents in agriculture. So I was completely far away from this, right? And my dad was had a big farming operation. And so he passed away, and I'm an only child, and my mom didn't want to deal with it, and I didn't want to deal with it, and so we sold it. And so the next step was, all right, now what am I going to do with my life, right? And somebody that I knew was part of a public relations agency based in Atlanta, and that she was going to open up an office down here in Florida. And so asked me if I was interested, and I said, yeah, I mean, I've done some PR work before. I mean, I'd like to. And this particular agency focused almost entirely, their client base was or I guess still is attorneys. So larger corporate firms with attorneys focusing in different practices, and my job was to get them in the media based upon their focus, whether it be like cyber law or workman's comp or whatever that may be, and get them media opportunities, which I loved it. And the only thing, the company that I was working for, it wasn't a good fit necessarily for me. And both of my parents were entrepreneurs, and I think just kind of deep down inside of me, this is something that I wanted to do. And and I met a few people and just gave me some wise advice. And one of those people was actually Josh Hayes, and he said, there's so many marketing people. If you can do PR, that's different. I mean, there's not a lot of that, and so I went down that path, and it's been, as any business owner knows, I mean, it's got its ups and downs, and sometimes you feel like your back's up against the wall, but man, I would not want to do anything different. And I think it's a calling, and it's a calling that I believe that companies and people have a story to tell. Something special inside of them, and they have a message. And I think from a very beginning, when I was very young, I was always that person that wanted to be behind the scenes to kind of help elevate others. I didn't really know what that looked like at the time. And so as time evolved, it looked like that this was it, right? This was that way that I could do that.
Right. When you think about the experience you got working for attorneys, is that more of your niche now, or?
No, it's not. I have worked with some attorneys. I did know that if I could do that, I could do PR with anything. Because attorneys, God bless them, but sometimes you have to kind of dumb stuff down for the rest of us. It's like, no offense to any attorneys out there. There's a lot of friends of mine, but they think on a little bit different plane. And so
a little different language.
A little bit different language, and that's fine, and it's needed. But I knew that if I could do that, I could do it with just about any industry. And so right now, in the past several years, we focused on anything everywhere from commercial construction to banking. Right now we have a client that's higher education, a university that we work with and get faculty members in the media for different things. And it's great. And we try to fill a gap because, a lot of people, I'm a smaller company. I don't pretend to be like a big PR agency in New York or Manhattan or anywhere like that. But working with small to medium-sized businesses and really helping them grow and get their message out there and positioning them as an expert using the media is it's just something I'm passionate about. I really enjoy it.
So when you were talking with Josh about what should I be doing, what were you thinking about doing in marketing before saying, no, I'm going to do PR?
In college, I was a marketing major. And so I was kind of thinking more just with social media, email stuff, just different things. And I don't even remember the conversation that he and I had. But all I remember him saying was, if you know how to do this, right, and do it well, and then just do it, right? And so not only Josh, but there were some other people that are in my life that I highly respect, and they said, you've with your experience and the things that you've gone through, right? It's either now or never. And I really truly felt that. If I'm going to take this step out and be a business owner and really do this and do it well, it's got to be now. And so just kind of the whether it's divine providence, the stars align, whatever it is that you believe, I felt like the things were stacked up for me to do this. And just personally, my wife and I, we didn't have any debt at the time other than our house. And so she and I were like, let's do this. Let's do it. And so I was pumped up. I was so fired up. as business owners
10 years later.
10 years later, we're still here.
Yeah.
We're still rocking it.
Yeah.
So, we're still rocking it.
So when you're talking with clients about doing PR and stuff like that, because they probably think marketing most of the time.
A lot of times
exposure.
They do.
So when you're having that conversation with them, you're probably not saying it's not that I'm saying don't do marketing, but here's why PR is also important. What is usually how are you usually pitching it to someone who doesn't have PR and maybe not thinking about PR?
That's a good question. I think, I think a lot of it has a conversation that happens with the business owner or the CEO or whoever that is, and in helping them see it, because a lot of and really helping position them. And a lot of times what I've done in the past, it's almost like a personal branding company with the leadership in a lot of ways that that using PR to do that, but it actually affects the whole company. And so a lot of business owners and CEOs, they don't like to brag about themselves. I mean, most of them, some have egos, and that plays into this, but some of them don't like to pat themselves on the back, and they don't want to come across as, I don't know what the word is, self-righteous or I'm better than anybody else, but they are so knowledgeable about the industry, about different things, about leadership, about whatever that may be, and so I think having that conversation with them, that it's not about you, it's about your message, really. And it's not about people looking at you, it's about who you're going to help, and trying to shift their perspective from, hey, look at me, I'm on an interview, to that message that's going to help their industry, their company, their clients, in helping them solve their problems or potentially get new clients or whatever that may be. So a lot of those conversations happen around leadership, and there definitely is an education facet to it, because a lot of people do confuse it, PR and marketing, and they wonder what it is. But it's just like I said, it's the long game, and it starts with an education first.
Right.
It does.
What opportunities do you think most small businesses are missing out on when it comes to PR and marketing, stuff like that? Should they be trying to join other people's podcasts? Should they be starting their own podcasts? Should they be doing more videos for themselves, or trying to be on other people's videos? What do you think is the better strategy besides all of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think being intentional about it to begin with is a place to start, because a lot of people don't. They just look for opportunities that kind of are just might fall in their lap, and and sometimes that happens, but a lot of times you have to be intentional about it. And finding a place to start might be just look in your own industry. I mean, look in trade publications where your clients or customers are looking at that stuff. It might be trade expos, it might be whatever it is, and trying to get in front of those people and starting there. A very good friend of mine, he is the CEO of a boat company, and actually he just retired here in 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is a huge boat company that makes ski nautique, and the former CEO Bill Jurgen just stepped down, but he was always doing trade publications and articles, and a lot of them are looking for content to write, or they're looking for content and looking for people to write it. And so starting there is huge, and just having a presence on social media. I mean, podcasts are great. I mean, as you know, I mean, there's people that are looking for guests and experts and that kind of thing. And as long as it fits, right, it's got to fit with whoever that is and your message. Because the last thing you want to do is really kind of spam and, take up somebody's time that just it's not a good fit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So how can someone get in touch with you, your company, so on and so forth, man?
Yeah. So 𝗵𝗵𝗏 Blue Bridge. A lot of people say Blue Ridge, and it's a little play on words. It's 𝗵𝗵𝗏, and you can find me there. I'm on LinkedIn, whatever. But so yeah, it's a fun ride. PR is a fun world, and man, I look forward to working with anybody that's interested.
Absolutely. If you're interested in checking Robbie out at bluebridgepr.com, make sure to go there. And if you're thinking about marketing, thinking about better exposure, more exposure, truly growing your brand, PR is the right way to go along with your marketing. Robbie, thanks so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let me give you a little cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
Till next time.
Sounds good.